If you want to help out and support the channel, there are a few things you can do. Go check out Flipside Gaming and use the promo code VOIDMAGE in all caps. This will get you 10% off all orders $10 or more. And if you go shopping on tcgplayer.com, go use my affiliate link in the description below. That way all purchases you make will go towards helping the channel. And lastly, go check out my Patreon. It's a more direct way that you can help the channel while also getting some more interaction. I appreciate all of your support. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Commander Deck Tech video. This time for patron William Grove. He wanted me to do a partner Commander deck with Kydele and either Kraum or Ludevic. The deck is going to be all about ramp and bringing out some bigger creatures while also taking advantage of card draw. Now since he said either Kraum or Ludevic, I'm probably going to go with Kraum because I like the ability to throw out a flying creature, and I like that you can potentially get even more card draw because your opponents are going to have to cast their second spells each turn. I don't think they're going to stop if it just gives you one card. Now Kydele is where a lot of the power in this deck is going to come from. She taps for 1 colorless mana, and that's for each card you've drawn this turn. I think these actually make pretty good partner commanders, and even while that's mostly for the colors and the things that we can do with these colors, you have a commander that provides you with card draw, and you have another commander that rewards you with mana. And while they don't really combo with each other, you're going to see that the deck is going to take advantage of card draw and mana. This is mostly going to be with Kydele. I mean, that mana production is just ridiculous, and we would be foolish if we didn't. I guess it's just easier to explain the deck as I go along, but let's start it off here with the lands. Nothing really special to go over here, just your basic mana fixing, your shock lands, command towers. Reliquary Tower would be the only thing out of the norm, but that's just because we're drawing a bunch of cards, and you can expect to see other things that will give us no maximum hand size. Now as we go into other ramp, we have that all over the place. We have it in artifact form. Soul Ring, we have the signets, that's including the new arcane signet. We have a thought vessel to give us no maximum hand size, and a commander sphere so we can tap for whatever color we need. We can also sack it to draw a card. We have Birds of Paradise and Coiling Oracle, two pretty cheap creatures that I think go well in the deck. We have Cultivate and Kodama's Reach just to give us the lands that we need. Our cheapest commander is 4 mana, so I think this is a decent turn 3 play. We also have the cards Growth Spiral and Urban Evolution. They do similar things. We get card draw and we get an additional land, making it pretty easy to play whatever we want. But we have some other cool interactions here. For our enchantments, we have Burgeoning and Kruphix, God of Horizons. Both of these make sense because we have a bunch of wheels in here. We have a ton of ways to refill our hand, and if we can put a land into play every time an opponent plays a land, we should be able to put a ton of them into play. And Kruphix just makes sense because we have a bunch of mana that's going to go unused. We would hate to get rid of it all, so at least we can store it as colorless. This just makes a lot of other things so much easier to do. We have X cost to draw spells, just very powerful spells that we can dump all of that excess mana into later. Now we want to take advantage of Kydele by untapping her. If we can untap her, that might be the difference in being able to play an Eldrazi. So we have things like Magerite's Stone, Kiora's Follower, Vizier of Tumbling Sands, and we also have the combo of Dramatic Reversal and Isochron Scepter. These cards with Kydele will give us infinite colorless mana, and if we have other mana rocks, that's just infinite mana period. Pretty crazy combos there, and you're going to see why we want all of that colorless mana. We have quite a few things to do. So let's talk about all the ways that we can draw cards in this deck. There are a ton. Let's start it off here with our instants. We do have Brainstorm. For the mana, it's one of the better cards in the deck. It's technically going to draw you 3 cards, which means you're going to add 3 mana to the mana you can tap with Kydele. We also have some other really good blue instants like Pull from Tomorrow and Blue Sun Zenith, so we can draw as much as we want. Save up our Kydele mana so that our following turn can be even more explosive. We also have a Frantic Search, so we get to draw 2 cards and then untap our mana. Really good if we just need that extra push, a little bit more mana to make other spells more powerful. We have Faithless Looting, good red cantrip, also going to be 1 mana for 2 card draw. But we have some wheels. We have some wheel cards that are going to allow us to draw a bunch more. We have Winds of Change, we have Windfall, and we have Echo of Aeons. Wheeling is one of the better things you can do in the deck because it will allow you to draw a bunch of cards all at once, making Kydele even more useful. But probably the epic draw spell in the whole deck is Finale of Revelation. You get to draw X cards if X is 10 or more. Instead, shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw X cards, untap up to 5 lands, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. So you get to put old combo pieces back into your deck. You can untap up to 5 lands, and you can have a massive hand size of like 30 cards and not have to discard any. That is so powerful when we also have things like Eldrazi in the deck. Any kind of infinite mana combo we can enable after doing something like this should allow us to win the game pretty easily. We also have a Teferi's Puzzle Box, which is kind of a random card. You don't always know what you're going to get, but it will start you off your turn with a bunch of card draws, so your Kydele is immediately useful. At that point, it's just a matter of what did you actually draw. Now, another way to combo in the deck that's also associated with card draw is taking advantage of Niv-Mizzet. We have 2 Niv-Mizzets, Niv-Mizzet Perun and Niv-Mizzet the Firemind. Both are important because they interact with 2 other cards we have in the deck, Curiosity and Keen Sense. Really cool reason to be playing green with these cards. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Both Niv-Mizzets have a condition where when they draw a card, they can deal 1 damage to any target. So if you take advantage of this, you will be able to draw as many cards as you want, at the same time pinging whatever you want for damage. Because it's a May, you don't have to deck yourself out, and you'll be able to draw into your win cons, whatever will help you even further. We do have some other good creatures that synergize with card draw. We have a Laboratory Maniac. This is one of the cards that we really want to have in the deck because of that potential to just draw our entire library. As long as we have the mana to play it, we should be able to win pretty easily. We have a Psychosis Crawler, so if we do draw a bunch, we can force our opponents to lose even more life. We have Arjun the Shifting Flame, which is kind of like a Teferi's Puzzle Box, but the sweetness here is that you can do this multiple times a turn. We have the Locust God that will reward us for drawing cards by giving us 1/1 blue and red insect creature tokens with flying and haste. Also just a pain for your opponents to have to deal with. Now we get into more of the high converted mana cost creatures. We have Nezahal Primal Tide. All around just a great utility creature in blue. Very difficult to deal with. You can easily discard 3 cards and then have it come back at the beginning of the next end step. Also a way to give you even more card draw, giving you no maximum hand size. We also have no maximum hand size with Tashana Voice of Thunder. Power and toughness equal to the number of cards in your hand, and when it enters you draw a card for each creature you control. Very powerful way to get more mana out of our Kydele. And then we're playing Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur. Has flash at the beginning of our end step. We draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. We have a way to just draw 7 cards, fill up our hand, while also punishing our opponents by making them discard their hands. And now we go on to the Eldrazi, probably the best Eldrazi you can play in the deck. Both Kozilek's, the Butcher of Truth, and the Great Distortion. Both give you great card draw. If you have an empty hand, Great Distortion will fill it up, while also giving you way to counter spells. Kozilek has Annihilator. Even if you have a full hand though, you can still draw 4 cards with them. So 2 very good reasons to have Kydele as a commander. Oftentimes, you want to have something to do with all of that colorless mana. You don't just want it emptying from your pool. Now let's talk about the big cards here, the cards that we want to easily win with. Now I mentioned other ways that we can untap our Kydele, but probably the best way and the easiest way to combo is with Umbral Mantle. 3 mana with an equip cost of 0, so it's pretty easy to equip it. Gives her the ability of 3 mana and untap. She gets +2/+2 until end of turn, which don't overlook that. That could be an easy KO. The point here though is that you should be getting infinite mana if you've drawn enough cards in that turn. Once you have infinite mana, it's going to make it so much easier to dump however much you want into those X spells, or even probably one of the coolest win cons you can have in this deck, Helix Pinnacle. This is the card to have in the deck. Since Kydele is all about giving us a bunch of colorless mana, why not put it into this awesome mana sink? 1 mana green enchantment with Shroud. You can pay X to put X tower counters on Helix Pinnacle. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on Helix Pinnacle, you win the game, which shouldn't be a problem with infinite mana. So anyway guys, that's going to do it for the deck. Let me know what you think. I enjoyed making this for you, William, and I didn't just want to put in the typical Laboratory Maniac win con. I think that's a bit boring, and I just don't see Helix Pinnacle in enough decks. It's a cool card, very difficult to deal with. It has Shroud, so you at least get other ways of winning. That's not just about the typical card draw or spell slinger strategies that you see all the time. Anyway, you all have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you next video. Just wanted to say thanks to the patrons who are supporting me on patreon.com. Go check it out. There are different tiers with their own rewards. One of them is having your name in the credits of my videos. I know it's not much, but it's something that I can do to show my appreciation. Thanks again, and have a good day.